The Straw Hats versus the Blackbeard pirates might go down as the greatest battle in One Piece. This is a fight that's been set up since pre-time skip, with strong emotional motivations, and one that can involve many other incredible characters. And the winner of this battle might be crowned the Pirate King. So in this video, we'll be discussing when this fight will go down, who else will be involved, and also I'll be giving my predictions on what the matchups will be. But to find that out, you need to be part of the King Pirates crew, so I need you to hit that subscribe button, and that way you won't miss any future videos either. Also, thank you to the sponsor of this video, Bye, but more on that later. To get started, the first question we have to answer is, when is this gonna go down? And to answer that question, we'll be looking at what both sides are currently doing, what their objectives are, and what are the final islands we still have to visit in the story. Let's start with Luffy, who's currently in quite a tough situation. He's attempting to take on two Yonko at once, but mostly he's just getting clapped. Blackbeard, on the other hand, was clapping cheap. He was kicking it back with some ladies until Big Boy Moria pulled up looking for Absalom, only to find out he's no longer alive. Do you hear that? That was all the people that cared about him. But the next update we got from Blackbeard was in the aftermath of the reverie, and he began to take action. He specifically told his crew, if the Navy is going to take it, I might as well claim the prize. Now, I've always been a little bit confused with the official translation of this, because if they already took it, then what the hell's the prize? Or does he mean he's gonna steal it from the Navy? It just doesn't make much sense as a sentence. Either way, from this, we can still conclude that Blackbeard is going after something beneficial to him that is involved with the Navy. Now, of course, this doesn't really help us too much, so we have to look at his other objectives to really get some hints. First off, Blackbeard, like many pirates, wants to become the Pirate King and get the One Piece, and he's not just blindly going about it like some other people are. He's actually had quite a meticulous plan so far. Stole the Yami Yami no Mi, bodied Ace, you guys know the story, so let's talk about what he's been up to since then. Because post time skip, there's been a few very notable things that Blackbeard has done. First off, he's clearly gathering all the power he can, expanding his crew in numbers, getting devil fruits for his crew, and also gaining a strong ally in Kuzan. He's also staying very informed with what's going on in the world and also getting involved with pretty much everyone. Not only does he have a former Impel Down warden on his crew and now a former admiral as an ally, but he also attacked Baltigo, clashing with the Revolutionary Army and Cypher Pole. And now he's going after something to do with the Marines. But despite all that, the most interesting thing that he's done might be taking over Pirate Island. Pirate Island is now the home base of the Blackbeard Pirates, but it was previously the home base of the Rocks Pirates. So that gives us a direct connection between Rocksteady, Zebek, and Blackbeard, and it's not the first one. That's because Blackbeard's ship is called the Saber of Zebek. Now, you might be thinking all of these things don't really have any strong correlations to each other, but I think gathering this information gives us some hints on what Blackbeard's objective is. First off, the fact that he's getting involved with so many people makes me wonder if he's trying to get his hands on an ancient weapon. Like I mentioned, Blackbeard is very tactical, and although he's sometimes reckless, he's not someone to take unnecessary actions with risks. So there has to be a reason he attacked Baltigo and is now going after something with the Marines, and I think it's probably a way to drastically increase his power. Because if you look at the big moves he's made so far, killing Thatch, breaking into Impel Down, killing Whitebeard, they were all risky moves, but they gave him big rewards and devil fruits and strong crew members. Add in the fact that if he's trying to follow in Rox's footsteps, Rox was also someone who broke taboos and went against the world government. So could all of these moves be Blackbeard trying to gain information to get his hands on a powerful weapon? Another thing to consider is that Blackbeard took action after the events of the Reverie. And after the Reverie, we know that the Marines were handling some mysterious situation in Alabasta, according to Garp. And well, Alabasta was the first place we learned about ancient weapons, and it does have a poneglyph that has the location of ancient weapon Pluton. So currently, my best guess is Blackbeard is going after ancient weapon Pluton, but low-key, the guy's a big brain, so he could be doing something completely different. Either way though, I think whatever he's going after is something to drastically increase his power. On the other hand, Luffy's current objective is trying to liberate Wano and take down Kaido and Big Mom. And if he comes out on top, he'll also be much more powerful through his own growth and the allies he gains. But the real prize is Kaido's poneglyph, which would get him 3 out of the 4 road poneglyphs needed to reach Laugh Tale. So right now, both Luffy and Blackbeard are both rapidly progressing in their own ways towards becoming Pirate King, and they're headed towards a collision. And to find out when these two will collide, we have to look for their stage with the final islands of the story. And currently, I think there are 4 islands left that the Straw Hats need to go to, and that is Elbaf, Lodestar, Laugh Tale, and Marijois. First off, with Elbaf, it was foreshadowed incredibly early on, and there's been a lot of build up for it, especially for Usopp, so I think it'll be a huge arc for Usopp's development, and there's no way we'll skip it. Lodestar, on the other hand, I think is an overlooked one. It's the last island that the log pose leads to. Now, some of you might say because it's not Laugh Tale, we don't need to go there anymore, but I think this island is important because for the majority majority of the story, it was the Straw Hats' goal. And more importantly, no other crew besides the Roger Pirates have made it to that island. Based on that alone, I think we need to go to the island just to see the mystery behind it. And if the Roger Pirates do it, the Straw Hats gotta do it too. On top of that, I think it's an arc where Nami will get a lot of shine, and if you want to know more about that, you can check out this video. Next up, we got Laugh Tale, which obviously we have to go to, and then we have Marie Joie, which I think will be where the final battle takes place. By the end of the story, the world government has to be defeated, and the only way to do that is to take it to their home court. Plus, there's the fact that Marie Joie is right by Fishman Island, which Luffy has to destroy later on according to prophecy, so I think we definitely need to go to Marie Joie. Besides those islands, there aren't really other ones I feel like we need to go to. Some people think God Valley is still around, so it'll be a place the Straw Hats need to go to, but that's still a pretty big what if in my opinion. Plus, going off of Oda's recent comments, I don't think there's gonna be many arcs left. So the 4 islands I mentioned are the only ones that I'm confident the Straw Hats will visit. But out of all of these islands, where can Blackbeard versus Luffy take place? And right now, my bets are on Elbaf and Marie Joie. To explain myself further, I need to discuss who else will be involved, but first, I want to let you guys know how you can get some awesome Japanese products like all of this great One Piece merchandise. And the way you guys could do that is through today's sponsor, Buy. With Buy, you can buy anything from Japan. They are a proxy shopping service that lets you bid on and purchase Japanese products online. It lets you shop through many stores such as Mercari, Rakuten, Amazon Japan, Yahoo Japan Shopping, and even more. The process is very simple. You simply search for the products you want and purchase or bid on them through Buy. Then your products will be shipped to a Buy warehouse in Japan, which they'll inform you of via email. After that, you just have to pay for shipping and your products will be arriving in no time. On top of that, if you sign up using the link in the description, you get 2,000 yen, which is about $20 off your first purchase. So go sign up below, get yourself some dope Japanese products, and now back to the video. So let's talk about who else will be involved, and the first thing I actually want to talk about are the stakes of this battle. Now, I'm not saying that this battle has to have like a traumatic death for it to be good, but there's definitely got to be some drama involved. And the only way to really create that drama is with the characters involved in the battle. One way I could see this going down is to simply make it a epic final war. And personally, I see this final war going down in Marie Joie, where there will be a world war with many parties involved. We're talking the Straw Hats, Marines, Revolutionaries, the world government, ancient weapons, and maybe Blackbeard gets involved in this as well. I think it's definitely possible, especially because Blackbeard is kind of getting involved with all of these parties and might be going after an ancient weapon. Also, if the Rocks connection is legitimate and Blackbeard just wants to be the king of the world, he'll have his own reasons to attack the world government. Now, previously, I always felt like Emu was going to be the final villain for this war, but if Blackbeard gets involved and he turns out to be the final villain, I will be very happy with that as well. Because for Emu, there are a lot of arguments against him for being the final villain. First off, many people argue that he's just not a strong person. And essentially, the idea here is that he's manipulated everything to his favor, so he doesn't need to be strong, so he's pretty much a celestial dragon on steroids. People have also argued that it would be kind of weird for Emu to be the final villain because he just showed up and we don't even know what he looks like. I guess we don't even know if he's a he. But yeah, if we get a scenario where Emu is more of a figurehead and Blackbeard actually turns out to be the final villain, it could work much better because Blackbeard has had that build-up. But of course, that's not the only option because there's one major connection to Blackbeard we haven't talked about, and that is Shanks. Shanks and Blackbeard have a mysterious history that still has to be revealed. We've continued to get hints on this, like Shanks trying to warn Whitebeard about Blackbeard and him getting the scar from Blackbeard, and we definitely need to see these two parties interact, especially after that standstill we had in Marineford. Now, of course, Shanks could also pull up in that final war, but the battle between the Blackbeard Pirates and the Straw Hats might happen before that, and if that's the case, I think it will happen in Elbaf. Now, I'm not gonna go too deep into this because I already fully broke it down in this video, but the main idea for this is Oda using Ragnarok from Norse mythology as a plotline in Elbaf. This would also create a major war pretty much between 3 Yonko crews and the entire giant race, and who knows, maybe some people do end up dying. We'll save Shanks dying for another video. But yeah, because the idea of Ragnarok is so appealing to me, I think Elbaf could also be where Blackbeard fights Luffy, and besides that, I don't really see another scenario that I feel very strongly about. Because with these two scenarios, not only do you have the drama and build-up of Blackbeard versus Luffy and the contrast of their characters, but you also potentially have a massive epic war with many other characters involved that can really escalate the stakes. Some people have pitched the idea that this battle is on Laugh Tale or Lodestar and it's a much more scaled down battle, but personally I just think only the Straw Hats should be able to visit those islands so the Roger Pirates and the Straw Hats have things that are unique to them. Of course, Oda could always add an island I'm not thinking about and get other people involved, so So if you have any good ideas, let me know in the comments. Moving on from that, let's get to the specifics and talk some matchups. Now, of course, let's get the easy one out of the way, Luffy versus Blackbeard, that's happening. But after that, I think we can actually split the crews into two groups of pre-Jaya and post-Jaya. Jaya was the first time the two crews came head to head and they were almost evenly matched. The Straw Hats had Luffy, Zoro, Usopp, Sanji, Nami, and Chopper. Meanwhile, the Blackbeard Pirates had Blackbeard, Burgess, Doc Q, Van Augur, and Lafitte. So Straw Hats only had one more member, and what's interesting is that most of the members have similar roles on the ship. Usopp and Van Augur are snipers, Chopper and Doc Q are doctors, and Nami and Lafitte are navigators. And I don't think that was a coincidence. I think that was Oda setting up these future matchups. And the fights make sense too. Usopp fighting an elite sniper in Van Augur will be a great test for him. From the moment he was introduced, Van Augur was sniping birds from a mile away, and he's really one of the only elite sharpshooters we know in the story, so he's a perfect matchup for Usopp. Chopper versus Doc Q also makes sense because Doc Q is like this sickly old man and really doesn't have any morals. The guy was straight up planting bombs and apples and giving it to people as a joke. So Chopper, being the righteous doctor he is, will absolutely oppose him, and it should be a pretty good fight. Doc Q might look old, but he's definitely got something mysterious in his bag. And then we got Nami versus Lafitte, which I think will be a good battle too, just to see how Nami reacts to Lafitte's creepy vibe. He also has a devil fruit that lets him fly while Nami uses weather attacks, so that should create some dope fight scenes. Lafitte can also use hypnosis in some way, so that's another fun element. And with the rest of the pre-Jaya people, Blackbeard's side only has Burgess, who's a helmsman. So he's kind of the first one to deviate from the matching ship roles, but his counterpart on the Straw Hats is Jinbei, and I think that would be a pretty dope fight. Jinbei is a martial artist, he uses Fishman Jujutsu and karate. I've been making a lot of jokes that I want to see Fishman RKO, but Burgess is like a wrestler, so we might actually see that from him. So honestly, if we got Jinbei versus Burgess, I think that would be a dope fight, but I still think we'll get Sanji versus Burgess, because I just don't think Oda lined up the other Blackbeard pirates in Jaya only for Sanji and Burgess to get left out. And also, Burgess is one of the most prominent Blackbeard pirates, he's actually the captain of the first ship, and because of that, I just don't see Jinbei taking this fight over Sanji, because Sanji is still gonna fight the more prominent characters since the monster trio will never die. Speaking of which, Zoro is the only Straw Hat that gets left out in this scenario, but his matchup is pretty obvious as well. It's definitely gonna be Shiryu. Shiryu has been a pretty prominent Blackbeard pirate as well, and with him being a swordsman, I don't see him fighting anyone else. There's also a fun dynamic now that he's got the fruit Sanji always wanted, so that should create some funny moments. But with that settled, let's talk about the post-Jaya groups with Brook, Robin, Frankie, and Jinbei. And on the other side, we have Katarina Devon, Vasco Shot, San Juan Wolf, Avalo Pizarro, and a mysterious 10th captain. And this is where it becomes much more a toss-up and really according to your preference, because we really haven't seen what those guys are capable of. But out of all of them, the one fight I really want to see is Robin versus San Juan Wolf. At this point, I think the path of progression for Robin is just getting bigger and bigger, and that's literally what San Juan Wolf could do. He's a giant that has a devil fruit that lets him get more giant. So I'm just imagining a gigantic battle where everybody's going at it and they're just in the background. It's like Godzilla versus Kong in the background, and you have Luffy and Blackbeard hockey clashing, Van Augur and Usopp sniping from a distance. That would be fire. But moving on from that, I think I will also want to see Brook versus Katarina Devon, and honestly, I just want to see Brook ask for her panties and what her reaction would be. Also, she did use a spear against Whitebeard, so maybe we can see like a fencing battle with Brook's sword style. Then with Vasco Shot and Avalo Pizarro versus Frankie and Jinbei, it could be either one. I don't feel strongly about these matchups, but the matchup I do feel strongly about is the 10th Titanic Captain versus Yamato. Yamato for Straw Hat, gotta push the agenda. I'm gonna guess your favorite color. If I guess it right, like the video, subscribe, and go check that video out. Your favorite color is blue. I feel like that's everybody's favorite color.